Well, hello. I'm Electra Borzell. I'm the director of the Language of Consciousness Institute. And lucky me, I have a role this spring in having conversations with people about the most interesting subjects. And right now, we're in a series that is discussing some of the old story, new stories proposed by Charles Einstein about kind of what do we need for a new story for our society, for our culture, so that it will be sustainable for future generations. Well, not just that the story will be sustainable, but that the culture, the economics, the way we live, the way we be together is more sustainable than it is now. One of the proposals they had was that in this particular story was that the old story is basically that we're random, right? Life is random. Nothing means anything. You just happen to run into somebody and it doesn't mean anything. Everybody in the conversation pretty much thought, no, that's not true. There's too many things that just like, wow, how did we meet? How did that happen? And you look at the things that impact your life. Now, some of that, I believe, is probably what you pay attention to. And if you pay attention to it, then you start to look at whether this meeting this person in this store or this place at this time was just something that you kind of used to grow from or to build on in your life, or it was just nothing. And most of the time, it's the paying attention that counts. So we started saying, well, what if it would be, what do we need to do to shift to that new story? Because we did agree that a lot of times we're unconscious about how we act in the world with others. And we're unconscious about what our impact is on others and unconscious about what from our past may be impacting our judgments about people in the present or events in the present. So it was a back and forth discussion about how do we do that? How do we start creating a society where people pay attention more? That we look at interactions with other people and what do we learn about ourselves from those interactions? When we look at our role in as a contributor to the communities that we live within or interact within, whether they're work or school or church or the community building you live in, how do we contribute? And what do we learn about ourselves from those contributions? What do we learn when we have an inner sense about someone, whether it's I'm irritated with them right off, or wow, I really am attracted to them. I'd like to get to know them better, or I don't trust this person with poop. Sometimes we find out that our initial judgment was absolutely correct. And you know that feeling inside when you go, I know this person is a bad dude, not a woman I want to be around. And once we learn that, then we pay attention to that cue system, and we don't waste a lot of time on certain people that we have that feeling with. But the better thing we do is we ask ourselves these questions about how can I contribute, and in what ways is it obvious that I do that now, and what ways would I like to shift that? One of the women coined a word called responsibility. So we have certain capabilities to respond. We have certain neural pathways that help us respond. And through paying attention and to what we learn from others about ourselves, I'm looking at notes now. How to respond to how we respond to what happens around us or in the groups we have or even in the culture tells us a lot about ourselves. And one of the tools that I use is the observing templates from the language of creation, because those templates help us to step aside from what we've been part of to see another perspective. And so one of the key things to being able to be different in the world is to step out of the old pattern and look at it in a way that you can identify different ways to act so that you get a different end product as a result. So if you don't contribute much now, you can say, well, how do I contribute? And then, like, let's take that for a situation and just using the template. Observing being kind of alone in the group I'm in has me be present to, well, I don't make much effort there. Being present to, I don't make much effort, has me opened up to, well, if I want to have more impact, if I want to get to know them better, I'm going to have to put some effort into it. Opened up to, if I want to get to know them better, I better put some effort into it, has me have, okay, I'm going to go to the next event. I'm going to go down and talk with someone more, whether it's a church or whatever. That template, when you use it, it steps you out of being in the history of who you are or the history of, and into, oh, what am I present to about what's occurring here? And what am I opened up to, which is usually just a different viewpoint. When we can add different viewpoints, we learn more about ourselves. So sometimes that initial reaction to somebody is right on truth. You've got great radar. Sometimes it's an unfounded irritation or judgment, because when you get to know them later, they're just, it's not, your judgments weren't true. Our job, yours and mine, is to change how we behave in the world so that we can help create a sustainable future for coming generations. So I invite you to ponder the questions that's in this question of, are things random or are they synchronistic? And how can learning more about how I am with others help me to create a better world? And what would it be like ultimately if all of us did that more often, that really paid attention to how we were in the world, and we gained a better ability to respond instead of react? So first, I invite you to just ponder that and talk it with people that you trust and are open to being part of a generative conversation. If you would like to join our conversation, go to the website, www.loc-institute.com, and go to our events page, and you'll see the Einstein discussions for April. And you can join us. I would love, 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 love to have you. More viewpoints, more ideas popping around really helps us come to new awarenesses about ourselves and our processing and how we do it. Have a great day. I look forward to talking with you soon.